Good night. How are you all doing? Welcome to Tanster News Tonight. This is where we talk about all of the things that are on my mind. My obsession with Napoleon. I have been showing for the last few weeks that there's just a mountain of circumstantial evidence that he has the spirit of Napoleon. So this is the biggest deal possible for the world and me personally. Obviously, my whole life is Napoleon. So as strange as that sounds. And we live in a world where financial gangsters are running a massive Ponzi scheme. And because they have this Ponzi scheme that gives them all of the money in the world, it's witchcraft, their money system. That's how you know what their religion is. So they use this money to trap us, constrain us, keep us apart, keep us fighting. All of these things are coming directly from a certain cult, something to do with England. And I've been showing for months that how could two people possibly have more barriers put up against the two of us? He is a elite, I guess. What is he? He's some kind of super ruling class person, right? And I'm some kind of nobody gutter snipe. What groups are we in? Let me know. Anyway, so he's in the one group and I'm in the other group. And we can't ever talk to each other. Who's creating this? This cult out of England and Germany and who knows at this point, but it's a cult that's wants to take over the world and get rid of most of us, all this stuff. And it's all because they have all the money in the world because they've brainwashed everyone into uh, believing that they should own everything and we shouldn't own anything. It should be all for them and we should just die when they want us to. So it's like so cartoonish at this point. I actually am even going to say this. There was a huge transit at the end of 2020. It was called the Grand Conjunction, and that's an alignment between Saturn and Jupiter. And Jupiter is very benevolent, and Saturn is structures and foundations, and it's material, it's an earth sign. So basically, Jupiter influenced the government and the structures and made them benevolent. This happened 12, 21, 2020. I was really looking forward to this all year. What a year, 2020. But there was this big grand conjunction. And the whole idea of this grand conjunction is that that is the time where you can found a new empire. It's every 20 years, but it had been 200 years since the death of Napoleon. And I don't know exactly what was the rise of this dynasty, but it certainly got quite the shot in the arm from the downfall of Napoleon. So, so these people are complete, total left-hand path criminals. They are dictating that we take certain so-called medical products. They killed my mother. Killed my mother. My mother now is murdered by one of their endless plots that they're constantly throwing against us. And because of one of these endless plots, there's this story that I can't even go to see a show that Cohen does. So not only can I never talk to him because I've been blacklisted from his entire class of people, I can never talk to him because we live on two sides of the same town, I guess, because I'm blacklisted from the elites or something. I live in the Hamptons. So blacklisting me from the elites. I mean, these people are literally insane. They're blacklisting me from the elites. That's. So they already created all of these problems, and then it wasn't enough. I still might influence them. The worst thing they could have ever done was blacklist me because that made me so much more interesting than all of their wonderful artists that get forced on them. Forced. Exactly. The artists that they force on them to compromise them and make them look horrible. And they wouldn't like me, and they do like me. And that's why they have to play all of these sick games to the point where now I've been I've been labeled as I'm a health risk, right? I can't go into a theater now to save everybody from the, see? This is insane. And the great news, and this is great news, is that we can change our financial system astrologically. It is incredible what I'm seeing right here. I've been seeing every single day that there has been an alignment between Uranus and the sun. Okay, that's revolutionary in sign of Taurus. Okay, and then there's a square with Saturn, so there's a lot of like interaction with structures. And Pluto is in Capricorn, and it's in a very harmonious aspect with Jupiter, Neptune, Mars, and Venus. What does that mean? Great time to transform world structures, the government. We have all of the astrology for this, okay? We have Neptune in Pisces. We're very spiritual. The moon is going into Virgo. We're very good at details. We're very service oriented. Um, there's a lot of wind at our backs. We can win. Listen to the voice within. Find out what you're supposed to do. Please do it, because we can transform the worlds right now. We have Mercury trine Pluto. So transformative communications, that's in Gemini, the sign of communication. We're very social. We have everything we need right now to find new ways to interact with money, because the idea that I all of these ropes that they're tying us up with so we can't interact with each other. I hope everybody sees it. This is really important to them, that we can't ever understand each other. And the fact that he has reached out to me telepathically should tell you everything. We're in a new era. This is a new empire. They are a joke. They are a joke. They are a Bond villain joke. Why is everybody so scared of them? Do you look at them? Do you look at them? They are the Simpsons, okay? The Simpsons only tells you how they are. They're a joke, okay? Right. You found out everything you needed to know about them from The Simpsons. Okay, they're a joke. It's a Ponzi scheme. We need to move on. The idea that I can't even go buy tickets to see Cohen in concert now because I'm posing a health risk to everybody else in the theater. That is that's illegal in a million ways. They are doing everything legal. And because they own that guy in the government, they can do anything they want with everybody's government. No, no, that's illegal. That's illegal. That's illegal. All these bought people shutting down justice, they're a problem. Seriously, it's not your neighbors, it's not the celebrities. It's that guy. He's really easy to find. He's the guy who's like enforcing these criminal rules that are killing people. It killed my mother, that are destroying people's lives. How do you think, oh my goodness, I'm yelling, but how do you think Cohen feels that he has to betray so much of his audience? And should he just quit? That's his choice. He can quit, or he can deal with these rules, which are illegal, discriminatory. The world is Auschwitz now. Now the bankers are demanding human experiments, or else you lose your job. And then they guilt tripped us our whole lives about Auschwitz. Like it was our fault. No, it was actually their fault. And then they guilt tripped us about it. And now they're doing it like in their dreams. And and we're all supposed to put up with it, or else they're gonna send the thugs back to my house. This is out of control. This is a law enforcement issue. Okay? This is important. This is horrible to do this to him, because his music is incredible. He's amazing. Everybody who loves him should be able to see him. This is insane. I I mean, I am channeling his rage about this. I know that. I'm well aware of that. Okay, he is furious about this. This is horrible. You know, they make these deals with people. Oh, and then they don't hold up their end. nobody should trust them. No one should make deals with them. They have no integrity. Look, that Cohen knew that was going to come up, that one day they were going to try to kill everybody, and that then all the good people would have. You're not bad, I'm just saying, like, we're just very aware that we don't want to be killed by murderers, and we're the bad people, we're the virus, it's because we know they're trying to kill us. My mother apparently didn't know that they're trying to kill her. See, she should have followed my word. This is something I have to say about my mother. I always heard if I was in the newspaper, and I was completely estranged from her, but I always heard if I ever had any kind of achievement, she would just run across town screaming to find a way to get that newspaper article so she could collect, everything I ever accomplished in my life. Like, that's beautiful, right? But she didn't listen to a word I said. And it killed her. Okay, so it shows you that her appreciation for my accomplishments was very superficial. Kind of says it all. So I'm going to continue to prove that Cohen is Napoleon. It's shocking. And we should support him, find out what he thinks we should do, because he's going to have way better ideas. And money is a very solvable problem if we cooperate. Okay? And we have the astrology for that. Can you imagine? I'm being quarantined forever. 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 I can never mix amongst people forever. That's the rules now. Okay? Is that right? Is that fair to me? Is that fair to me? But they have all the money. So they can do whatever they want. This is insane. I'm trying to say that since the transit in late 2020, the grand conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter, 2021, 2020, that was a new empire. It came in, okay? And you will find that right from that point on, everything they did became the biggest joke ever. The deaths are not a joke. Not at all. The suffering is not a joke. What's been done, irreparable harm that's been done to so many people, and mostly what they've been doing to children, I can't even deal with it. Okay? It's very evil what they are doing, but they did become a joke. Okay? And everything about them became a joke. They are, you can't even look at them and not laugh at them now. They're so ridiculous. Their tricks are so played out. They don't have any tricks left. And everybody's so scared of them. They're a joke. They're a complete joke. When is everyone going to see this? I see this all of the time. I'm going to say it again. If Hitler came goose stepping in with his guys and everybody just bent over laughing, couldn't believe how stupid they looked, what a bunch of clowns they were, it would have been over right there. Everything would have been over right there. That's what we're trying to do, because they're trying to get that going again. Who paid for all of that? Guess who? The same people that pay for everything else horrible that happens. Because these things are very expensive. So we know exactly where all these horrible things are coming from, including the Nazis. Yes, that was them. Q, them. Trump, them. It's the same exact people. And they're a joke. And we can't get free of them. We have the astrology to change the money system. We can do it. Listen within. You'll know what to do. And then you'll do it. It's a new era. It's not like it was. Because everything they do is a joke. Of course you can't take them seriously. It's The Simpsons. That's Mr. Burns. Mr. Burns is a dictator. Mr. Burns. They were telling you all along that Mr. Burns rules the world, and he does. He does, and I have such a huge lawsuit for him, and I'm always thinking about it. And I don't want to do it until I get everybody involved. I think every single person on the planet would love to join me in my lawsuit against Mr. Burns. Wouldn't it be amazing? We could get all of our stuff back that he stole from us over the last 200 years. You know, I read these books, and the first people to buy up Hortense and Napoleon's properties were these people. Of course, that's what they do. They do anything for money, and then they buy the things of value that other people worked for. This is them, and I want everyone to know about my enemies, and I want everyone to know about Napoleon's enemies, and I want everyone to know about Cohen's enemies. They sabotage our lives. I don't know what they are, but we shouldn't have to live under their rule if we don't want to. Sovereignty is choosing your leader, and no one chose them. We were tricked into not seeing them by television and media. The whole point of media was so we wouldn't understand the nature of our enslavement, unfortunately. Anyway, so I'm going to launch right into a letter that Napoleon wrote to Hortense. And Napoleon and Hortense go through a roller coaster where he is having a meltdown in Holland. It's unbelievable. And his brother won't listen to him. And his brother is completely obsessed with his wife. And he is going insane about Hortense, Napoleon's stepdaughter Hortense, who I think was me. And he's non-functional. He's so insanely jealous about his wife. But it's really because she just loves Napoleon. She can't not love Napoleon. This person is only exists for Napoleon. It's the way it is for me. I can't see anything but Napoleon. So I'm sure she was like that as well. And he was furious about it. So he couldn't be king of Holland, and he couldn't listen to Napoleon because he's so mad at Napoleon because he knew that she was in love with him. So he was furious at Napoleon. It's a really interesting story. Anyway, so this meltdown in Holland is happening, and Napoleon's getting involved with Marie Valeska, trying to get his mind off of his whole twin flame stepdaughter thing, I'm sure. And Holland is melting down, and there's just agents everywhere, and it's horrible. So he tells Hortense, go back to Louis, submit to him, give your rights up to him, just be a slave to him, just do whatever he wants, make him happy. And that's such a horrible thing Napoleon said to her, but he did. He was just like, look, I have to be super cold about this. I have to stop being indulgent about it. She has to go back to Louis. She has to make him happy because he's insane, and she better fix it. And he was just thinking about his duties as a king. You know, he was basically a king. So he felt he was doing the right thing for his subjects and everything. And he was really cold with her. And of course she just did it because she did anything he wanted. And then her son dies. It's like the saddest thing. This whole story is so sad. And then her son dies. And her son probably wouldn't have died if he hadn't pushed her back. And her son probably wouldn't have died if he hadn't taken up with Marie Valeska, because he would have let her come visit him in winter quarters. Everything he did created the situation that killed her son. Okay? So even when her son died, the doctors didn't know how to do anything to help him. And this was the heir. This is Napoleon's crown prince. So this is somebody they would really want dead. Okay? So it just so happens the doctors didn't know anything about health. You know what I'm saying? Oh, see, doctors. You see how they like to use doctors? So the doctors let her son die, or whatever happened, but her son is, of course, dead. And this is her little Napoleon, her little son that was just like Napoleon. And Napoleon loved him so much, and he was so precious. And she just could put all of her love into him that she wanted to give to Napoleon because he was so like Napoleon, her little son. It's just so sad. Anyway, he died, and she's just done because Napoleon, her stepfather, had pushed her into this horrible situation that was going to kill her. And then he killed her son. And she just went catatonic, and she just wanted to die. I mean, this is a really interesting part of the Napoleon story, but she just didn't want to come back, or whatever happened to her. And Napoleon is just like dying of guilt because it's all his fault. And then he writes this letter. It's nothing to laugh about, but I had to set my phone up right. All right. My daughter, you've not written me a line in your natural and profound grief. You have forgotten everything as though you had lost everybody at once. I am told that nothing interests you anymore, that you are indifferent to everything. This is confirmed by your silence. This is not right, Hortense. It is not what you promised us you would do. Was your son everything in your life? Do not your mother and I matter at all? If I had been at Malmaison, I should have shared your sorrows, but I should also have wished that you continued to see your friends. Goodbye, my daughter. Try to be cheerful. One must be resigned to fate. Keep well in order to accomplish all your duties. My wife grieves over your condition. Do not add to her sorrow. Napoleon. So sad. Anyway, that gets to me. So let's compare that to Cohen's memoirs. Also super intense, gloomy, and sad. Okay, so we just heard yesterday about the records that he got from his dad and how much they meant to him and how he got to get early Beatles. He loved that. That's so nice to hear about. Yeah, if he mentions a song, I like to put it with the post. It's always nice to hear the sounds with it. So I'll continue. About 3 weeks before the release of I Want to Hold Your Hand, another Orange A label, the Beatles, appeared at the Royal Command Performance. It was then the biggest variety show of the year and starred popular singers, comedians, dancers, novelty acts, and stars of the stage and screen, all for the amusement of the Queen or one of her royal family, and broadcast to her subjects at home with some pomp by Associated Television. The TV Times went so far as to print a double-page insert mocked up to look like a formal program with a serrated edge printed in a typeface chosen to resemble handwritten calligraphy. Everything about it was designed to make the viewer feel like they were sharing an evening at the theater with the Queen Mother and her rather racy daughter, Princess Margaret. On this occasion, the show features Max Bygraves, the slapstick comedian Charlie Drake, the South American folk group Los Paraguayos, the North American singer Buddy Greco, and the young English singing star Susan Maughan, who had just enjoyed a hit with Bobby's Girl. Nadia Narina led a corps of dancers from the Royal Ballet in an excerpt from The Sleeping Beauty, and there were to be sketches from a comedy show, Steptoe and Son, though sadly not at the same time. Michael Flanders and Donald Swan, who resembled an admiral and a vicar, respectively, would be expected to sing their collegiate favorites, the hippopotamus song or the GNU song, while the cast of the musical Half a Sixpence and Pickwick were to be led in excerpts from the hit West End shows starring Tommy Steele and Harry Secombe. There was usually a special cameo by a big Hollywood star who might just walk on, wave, and take the ovation. But this year, it was a musical performance by Marlene Dietrich, accompanied by her musical director, Burt Bacharach. Somewhere in the middle of the order came the Joe Loss Orchestra, featuring the vocalists Rose Brennan, Larry Gretton, and Ross McManus. Needless to say, the idea that my dad would be sharing the bill with the Beatles was a lot more exciting than the fact that he was to perform for royalty. That show is now mostly remembered because John Lennon introduced Twist and Shout by saying, "For our last number, I'd like to ask your help. Would the people in the cheaper seats clap your hands? And the rest of you, if you'll just rattle your jewelry?" It was this quip that grabbed all the headlines the next day. There was no mention that my dad had sung If I Had a Hammer for the Queen Mother, who was very fond of work songs, never having had a job of her own. My memory is that my mother and I watched the show as it happened, but the history books tell me that it had been recorded for later broadcast. Either way, this was long before home video recorders, and such shows were never re aired, so it might as well have been live. For if you looked away, you missed it. I had to memorize every second of my dad's performance as it happened. I love hearing about this. So nice. So nice to hear about his life. I'd be proud too. That's amazing. Anyway, thank you so much. I think we've proven it already, so I'm not even. It's the same person. We should support him. We shouldn't. These rules are completely illegal in every way, and it's only because the justice system has that guy. See, that guy has to be amongst us. He's the overseer on our slave plantation. That guy, the guy at the gate who doesn't let justice happen. That guy. He's the overseer, and then we're the slaves. And then the slave masters are inside their palaces. So those are our overseers. They're the ones who maintain our slavery. And to be subject to outrageous, illegal monstrosity behavior and the reason is, because they own banking. Banking is a total scam. We've been tricked about it. The whole world is set up as a scam. But we did get that transit. And I've been demanding that transit happen, okay? And I do everything within my power to establish that new regime, okay? And it's the regime of listen to your gut, do what you're supposed to do, please, please. Let's save ourselves. Each one of us in our own way can save ourselves, and then we can help each other later and do everything for each other because we have different values. So we have a wonderful transits to have new values and look at life in a new way and to help each other and just like run down the street. What can I do for you? How can I help you? Is there anything I can do for you? Why can't we be like that? That's a wonderful way to be. And I'm barred from life as a contagious person. They're saying I'm contagious now. You see what I'm saying? That's witchcraft. They're telling everybody that I'm contagious and be scared of me. That's witchcraft. And they're making all the elites ignore me, they're blacklisting me, and they're isolating me. This is all witchcraft. Everything they're doing to me is witchcraft. So all of this behavior is witchcraft coming directly from like spy organizations. I don't even have to tell you their names. They all are like there to protect that scam. They don't work for our countries. But to all of you spies out there, all of you, welcome. We have no benefit in supporting our own demise. So anyone who thinks that they have a wonderful deal with them, well, they're not trustworthy. So it's not smart to support them. It's just not, because you can't trust them. So it's stupid to support them. So every single opportunity that we all have to undermine anything that they're doing, particularly all of this outrageously evil and illegal behavior, no one should be supporting it except for the one guy in the palace. He loves it. It's wonderful for him. And then there's all the people that feed off him. It would be terrible for them, but it would be so wonderful for the rest of us. It'd be wonderful. And we know exactly who we're talking about. Anyway, so it's enough, Anyway, so thank you so much for listening to me. I appreciate it so much. Have a nice evening.